Welcome to Evidence on Canal English. I'm Kejan Henry, and this is one of the programs where we give you the facts and we try to put things in context. And today we are talking about professionalization in the educational sector. The case study is that of fitting children career ready in the job market as Cameroon is moving towards emergence. And one of the fields is the exploration and mining fields. And today we are going to have as our guest Mr. Kumasi Simon Powo, who is the CEO of Goldfield Petroleum Institute. Thanks and welcome to the program. Welcome, Mr. Kumasi Simon Powo. You are an entrepreneur. You are a young, dynamic man, and you are into empowering the youths.
Yeah.
Now, the first question is, what is the motivation behind or just what you are doing?
Thank you so much. Sometime around 23, I started thinking aloud. By then I was the Director of Finance and Administration in HH Petroleum. And HH Petroleum was an exploitation company at the Gulf of Guinea.
Okay.
But what was surprising to me was I found no Cameroonian doing anything, but I was the Director of Finance and I know how much they were earning as salaries. So I started asking myself this question. Why can Cameroonians not do this? It was just like a dream. What they were doing to a Cameroonian is a dream. This is what I started asking myself, why can Cameroonians not do this? So I started now moving to Yaoundé, finding out from the ministers why Cameroonians cannot study in the domain of petroleum. And so they told me petroleum was under the prerogative of the head of state. And then I asked the question now to the minister. Has this head of state told you that Cameroonians should not study petroleum?
Good question.
And then they couldn't answer me. And so finally in 2012, all attempt for me to start this procedure, for this process of studying petroleum, almost failed because no minister was willing to open up to me. And so in 2012, by his grace, I think I saw the then Secretary General at the presidency and put this thing to rest. And I told him Cameroonian needs to study. I said it's a good idea. Cameroonian people mentally in slavery, in a mental slavery. That is, we claim we are up to something, we can do something, we have universities, we have this. But the end of it is, what can you do? Okay, I passed through Tiko Douala Road. I was looking at the rubber estates. Most of the time I was there. So I was told in secondary school, I was also a victim. I was told in secondary school, oh, they use rubber to make a tire of a vehicle. Yes, but the question is,
how can you do it?
How can this rubber be transformed into a tire? They will not tell us this. The white man is very trickish. They will not tell us this. What they show us, what they tell us is, we can use a rubber to make a tire of a vehicle. They're the end. Then when they ask you a question in class, a tire of a vehicle is made out of what? You say, out of rubber. Then they give you a big tick. That child is very intelligent. And then the parents will celebrate a GC of 10 papers, 15 papers on what a tire is made out of what? Out of rubber, the tick, and you pass a GC 10 papers. Huh? How is this rubber used in making this tire? That is not more our problem. So this is what baffles me. Talk of the roads, the stones, the gravels, everything is here to make a tire. Talk of the road, the simple road. Thousands of years, Cameroonians engineers claim to be engineers, they are in the office. What is happening that we cannot tar a kilometer of a road?
By our own engineers.
By our own engineers. Come back to the petroleum world. What's a drilling rig? It was a dream. Cameroonians could not talk it. Many years, university studies, degrees, and all this.
Even professors too.
Professors
are
many of them. All this and that. But the problem is, this black gold we call petroleum, crude oil. Are there some special people created by God that can know that there's oil here? Are they so special to dig this oil up? This is the questions that have all baffled me for many years. So I decided to give Cameroon a new system of education that is productive, education that is reliable, education that can see tomorrow.
Now let me just come there, Mr. Kumasi. Now, if you look at what you are doing, with the experience that you've had in the petroleum world, certainly you must have gone across the Gulf of Guinea.
Yeah.
Was it equal an inspiration, exploring the Gulf of Guinea and seeing that, okay, it's a newfound area?
Actually, it's an inspiration. You see, without that inspiration, the inner man in you that is pushing you to this, you will not do it. If God in heaven says there's crude oil here, it means the very God will show a way where we can bring it up to the surface, irrespective of the color. It means it's not something of expatriate. Africans can do it. Because one time in Saudi Arabia, where by that time I was studying petroleum, I came across something. The people are more orientated toward the field in which you want to become. They don't just study by having certificate. But we here study by having certificate. This is wrong. We must study to end somewhere. Ending somewhere means if I have to be a petroleum engineer, I start doing things like physics, chemistry, geology. This is where I must base.
Rather than generalizing
everything and getting a child suffered for 15 subjects, which has no meaning at the end of it all. Take for instance, I sitting here, I wrote GCA O level, am I correct?
Yeah.
Take even first school living.
Yes.
If you bring the very question I answer in my first school living to obtain my first school living certificate, I will not even begin, not the talk of the end. It means therefore that our educational system has been created in a way, you pass here, you forget. Pass here, forget. Pass here, forget. So who now is who?
So what do we intend to do? Professionalize it and fit our children.
Professionalize and let the Cameroonian people say, I can do this. Let them not be talking about, I have a PhD in paper. Let us say, I can do this. I'm somebody who can do this. Then shall we be talking about the emergency in the 2035? We will not wait until the white man could come and construct us the bridge. Construct this, construct this, construct this, construct even our refinery. We will look at it, it is good. That's not an emergency. That's not what my head of state is saying. The head of state of Cameroon has seen this thing very clear. That's why he came out in February, on the 10th of February this year, and told the youth of Cameroon, go professional. It means therefore that the head of state has seen it clear. It's a man with great vision, and it's a man who wants to carry the youth of Cameroon to a position when everybody will not be looking at the state. We become enterprising. We become people who can produce this thing. We become people who create. We should not just be people who seek for employment. We should be creators. And so that is why I brought in this system of education.
Just to come to what you were saying, that this issue of petroleum is reserved only to President Biya and maybe one other person who is involved in petroleum. Have you seen that myth broken?
He was talking in ignorance.
Because
so what has happened now?
You have to break through.
No,
and that the petroleum sector has been really liberalized.
Yeah, that's the belief of Cameroonians. Somebody does not know anything. The president of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya, liberated this sector of the petroleum world. Today you have Total. You don't just have only Total. Cameroonians are building petroleum stations all over. That's to tell you that the sector has been liberated. Everyone with a license, from which country, from which part of the world, we exploit. If you have a license for exploration, that's what SNH is basically doing for every company that comes here for exploration. If you meet up the conditions of the country based on the what you call the local content. But one of the things that is almost getting us out of this whole thing is that the local content, once they get it, it's not respected. So one of the points I'm striking now, writing for the head of state to have it on his table now, is for all the companies in Cameroon to obey the local content.
That is to say?
That is to say, the 86% of those working in this company should be Cameroonians. And moreover, if they don't have the expert, the local content says, if we don't have the necessary expert in that country, then that company is bound to take some people in that country and train them and employ them. There's no reason. Look, let me give you a simple analysis. You have 10 companies now in Cameroon. Take 10 companies exploiting petrol. And then at the end of the day, children graduating from a school like this, they'll tell you there's no employment. Take just 10 students from this school. Take a company, one company, recruit 10. Pay them just 300,000 francs. It's 3 million.
Good.
How does that change anything to that particular company?
Mr. Kumase, there is, you brought up an important aspect. When there was the construction of the Chad-Cameroon pipeline, we discovered that there were too many people coming from Asian countries, to do unskilled labor, whereas we had those unskilled laborers here, but we could not train them. We had welders. They could not be trained, etc., etc. Now, are you like saying that what you have done in the Gulf field, oil, petroleum sector, is in trying to close that gap?
Yes, that is basically what I'm trying to do here, and that is basically my vision. The vision I came up with is very strong, and I will stand by that vision. Even the mountains are in front of me. How many? Those mountains will go down because we are bent in making Cameroonians do things. If I establish this institution, and I said at the end of it all, I will employ you, I'm making a mistake. Yeah, my vision for them is to be creative. First, stop telling me about jobs. Since if they don't want to respect our local content, then we'll get into creation. This, first of all, is a good thing. When they cannot employ, then we create. What is difficult in creating? Now the head of state, in his good vision towards the youth, has immediately again put in banks that can give you
loans for small and medium-sized enterprises.
Small, medium-sized enterprises.
So what are some of the sectors that you are
when
encouraging
you discover that when the head of state, this is the first school of petroleum in the whole of Cameroon.
Good.
Yeah, that was to tell you how determined the head of state was in creating and trying to see the youth through in the domain for creativity, domains for creations. So when you look at the sector, the head of state, they gave us all the departments, all. Everything about the petroleum sector are found in the school. But for us to do it well, we must begin somewhere. So we began with the petroleum engineering, call it the oil and gas drilling or oil and gas exploration. You have the petrochemical, call it refinery. You have the petrologistic, call it what you call structural and everything you call marketing, stock management and all those things. Or the allocations of personnel, programming of personnel and the materials, offshores and everything. So this is where we began. We started with petroleum engineering, call it oil and gas. We went to petrochemical, call it refinery, and we're now on petrologistics. So the school offers 3 major departments. But with health, safety and environment cutting across all these departments. Industrial welding cutting across all. And from here, you could see the laboratory.
Now, one other question, Mr. Kumasi Simon.
Yeah.
When we look at our country, we look at the way things are moving very fast.
Yeah.
The challenges in the petroleum sector, the challenges in the construction, building and construction, road, civil engineering, etc.
Yeah.
One is tempted to ask if really we have the professionals who transmit that knowledge.
Yeah.
Do you have?
You are very correct. That is the problem. When we started here, the Cameroon.
Do we ship professionals from Europe, from America, from Asia?
Let me tell you something.
Or you partner with them, maybe?
Cameroon is complete. You understand? The problem was where they were being placed after their studies. In SNH, you have people like Mr. Tamfu, he's an engineer. You have people like Patambe, they are engineers.
Blocked in the office?
Yeah, but they are there. They are managing, they are doing what we call the petroleum management sector, not the exploration sector. But does not mean that they cannot do it. They have the skill, they have the man. We have engineers like Mr. Tamfu, like Pa Tambe, and the rest of them you can mention. They are there stock. You understand? And therefore, Cameroonians have engineers in this field. But where they are positioned is the problem. They are doing the work, but they have not got an area to at least transmit this knowledge. So the knowledge remains in them.
What are the challenges, so to speak, that maybe we are facing in this sector?
Yeah.
Infrastructurally?
Yeah, you're correct.
Logistically?
Yeah. When you look at the challenges, I don't believe in challenges. I believe I can overcome challenges. But where we are presently having a problem where you see me sending these children out is our companies don't open their doors for students' intention. We don't have the equipment.
Is it because
offshore?
Is it because we lack the equipment, or is because
we lack the equipment like the drilling rigs? The drilling rigs that drill petroleum on the ground, the petrochemicals, the machines that do the refining process. You see, sometimes it becomes difficult. Once drilling starts taking place, no company will tell you that I have the time to show the student this is this. So sometimes we take off forcefully, maybe with 10, maybe with 20. At the end of the whole year, not all have gone on the rate because the people are also working on time depending on how much they pay per hour.
That's good.
So the drilling rigs are not sufficient for us to train these children.
So that's
That
a major
is why
challenge.
that's a very big major challenge. And so we are sending them now over there in Ukraine and Malaysia so that at least they will do the specialized program because these people are far advanced in this thing and they have the necessary equipment. So they are going there for a specialized program.
What should I say is needed to be somebody who is in the petroleum sector? Do you just need literature, English language, or you need physics, or you can be trained to become one?
Okay, listen. Because of the situation we find ourselves in this country, before and even up to this present time, I don't want to believe on you did physics, you did geography, you did this. What are we calling science? Science is something, it's still the mentality of what, let me call them, the foreign countries. To tell us, if you don't do science, you will not do this.
It was a
It's
stereotype. It was a stereotype
to keep us on the ground.
That's good.
Let me tell you, for somebody to build this world from year to year, the science of this building is inside that building. It means it can measure like this. No, there's a door here. No, how many meters it will take to be here. That's sciences. Huh? So whether the child is on geography, what we believe in Goldfield, you can become an engineer in the petroleum world. Because we are doing the practical aspect. It's not all about writing in class and no. We will tell you the pipe to go down here to search this is like 10 millimeter. We'll show you 5 millimeter. We'll show you 20 millimeter. But then, if I take a pipe, this my hand, you'll know that this is the small one.
That's good.
This is the big one.
That's good.
Even a fool knows. So what are they trying to tell us about science up and down and this and that?
Or literature. Or
literature.
Or somebody
what are they trying to tell
cannot do. Sorry.
Any child doing even literature, geography can become a petroleum engineer. It's clear and clean.
And how long does it take, sir?
It takes you, that is why I said in Goldfield. That's why you will see them, they are on uniform. We don't want to believe on this thing of go and stay in the house and come to class and make 2 hours a day and go back.
No, you confine them.
No, you confine them till they come, what you call the dormitory. And they start classes at 7:30 and end at 4:30. They will do
full-fledged class.
Full-fledged class with their uniforms, and they have to be here for 3 years. And the 4th year, they will be over there to do the specialized program to come back. Otherwise, why should you keep a child in the field or in the when you look at the medicine field? You see some people say they will do 7 years in the university to become a doctor, and at the end of it all, after the 7 years, you still see them. They cannot operate. Hunting for job, and they cannot even operate somebody.
Whereas in other countries, things are moving very fast.
Very fast. The drilling captain I met in the field here when I sent the children off for practical told me he had not been to secondary school. He said he ended in level 4. And that level 4, he came now and he is growing in the professionalism in the field. But yeah, what the Cameroonian people want is to hear me say, I'm giving them master's degree, I'm giving them PhD degree. I'm not interested. If you're coming here to look for master's degree, PhD, don't come. If you're coming here to tell me that your own PhD is what you can do, how you can tell me that there's oil here, then come.
Professionalization in the emerging, in an emerging Cameroon, and that is what we are looking at today in the program, Evidence. And of course, our guest is Mr. Kumase Simon Mobo. He is the CEO of Goldfield Higher Institute of Professional or Petroleum, so to speak. And we shall be coming back in a split second. Vision 2035 is not far, and conscious of this, President Paul Biya told the youth to take their own destiny into their hands by going professional. And it is now for the youth to go professional. Now let's come back to you, Mr. Kumase Simon Paul. I got it right. Now, President Paul Biya said, take your destiny, go professional. Can you reverse that to put it in this context, that we should not do other things?
No. Don't misinterpret the vision of the head of state. The president is very clear about this whole thing. But if you don't have a deeper understanding, it's a man that speaks few words, but you can write it the whole year.
You speak like a politician.
Yeah.
Are you one?
He said, I'm a politician. Thank you.
Come on.
He said, take your future to your own hands by moving professional. What was he saying? Cameroonians, learn to do things on your own. Learn to be an entrepreneur. Learn to be a creative person. Stop thinking that the state can offer everything for you. No. The state has its own obligation and his own limits. You as individual has your own obligation and your own limit. Therefore, let each and every one of us begin to know that you are a resource person, that you can employ 10 Cameroonians, that you can be an entrepreneur tomorrow. Why do you only think that others will do if you see? Experts will come and do, you see. The state will do and you see. No, that was what he was talking about.
How do you feel when you find experts most of the times in Cameroon and they pick up the juicy jobs?
No, I feel bad. To be very honest with you, there was a time I made it clear that these people, I don't want to. That is why in this school, some people were expecting me to go and bring white men to come and run the institution. I told them no. We can do it. And that is why if you look at the motto of this school, I say, it is possible, we can do it. So what I'm telling you is that when I see them, I get angry. You know why I get angry?
No.
Not because they are not here, they are not supposed to be here, but that they don't open up to the generation yet to be born. Why? If they show this generation today on what they are doing and what they can do, this generation today will show the ones of tomorrow. But this whole thing seems blocked, and therefore putting the country in a state of dilemma, a state of confusion, a state of slavery. No one can really tell you exactly. That is why you see most of us want to wear this tie and sit in the office and steal government money. Yeah? Because that's the best we can do.
And so now, to close up, what will you tell our youths?
Cameroonian youths, I want to really call on the Cameroonian youth with all my mind. Deep from my mind, I want to call the Cameroonian youths to understand one thing. Let some of them not believe that the state can do all for them. They have a greater role to play. The state protects you, gives you the security. The state is not a place where all employment, the private sector is in the hands of the youths. Our parents are already in the office, writing geography and history, writing philosophy or writing literature. We, the youths, are strong enough to get to the field and do these things. But today, Cameroonians youths, they want to be at least dancers, youths of Facebook, and every time they are the Facebook
white-collar jobs, etc.
Instead of the Cameroonian youths to get to the ground. The ground does not fail. Everything we are talking, let me tell you, riches is here and poverty is here. The way you see, the way you talk, the way you do things makes your tomorrow. It means therefore that if we know that on the ground, or what we can do, like farming, is a creative job. You don't want to go to the farm. Look at this thing we are talking about, the local content. When they call some of us, some of the youth to come and cut just tree at the passing of the pipeline project, none of them were willing. They will look at their hands.
So whereas they would have made much money.
They would have made much money. Every
themselves.
Cameroonian youth want to be very lazy, want to wait for the parents to do everything, buy dresses. Oh, they sit and just watch and read. Yes, but where are you reading to? You must know it. So I'm calling on all the youths of Cameroon to stop all this practicing. They should get to the reality of things. They can be
and it's like most of them want fast cash.
Job. Yeah, that's the main problem today. A child today wants million without sweating for it. But money is not God as people think. Let us look, when the economic crisis came to Cameroon one time, we thought that was a bad thing. To me, it was the best thing because today you see our women in the market trying to sell. Before our women were in the house. And our women struggling to work. And when you enter in most of the companies today, women are there. That's as a result of the crisis because some said, my husband's salary cannot support me. This is a good thing. But before, we just feel we have money, let the women don't do anything.
The women remain housewives.
So the youth should get to the field and do these jobs and get money. Farming is one of the lucrative jobs, but the youth will not do it. Digging, that is drilling. Drilling, oil drilling, this is one. But some fear even water. When I was sending them offshore into the Gulf of Guinea, some of them came and stood at the point the ship was about to take off. Some told me that they are not going. That they are not entering this water. So I have to force them before some of them went out.
Otherwise, you will never learn.
Yes. So finally now they have discovered that this water is nothing. What the machines, the equipments we are using,
It's
it's
so
just like we are
protective.
sitting,
So
it's very
protective.
protective, so they should not fear anything. So they are aware of it and they are doing it quite well now. But if more Cameroonians can know what we are struggling to do, it will be better for them. Because the petroleum sector has been liberated, let them come, let us remove this ties and this code put aside. I will get on the ground and we'll make our country a proud country. A country that fits itself well is a stable country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kumase Simon Powo, for this very brilliant explanation and the encouragement that you are giving to the youths of Cameroon. Of course, with all of us, or from all of us, we want to say thank you very much for having watched this part of the program, Evidence, where we give you facts and we tell you more that you need to know as it will change our ways of doing things.
Thank you so much.
I've been Kejan Henry. Goodbye.